Hello, welcome to News at 10 on TV3. We're live from our studios here at Adesawe, Kanda, Accra, and also live on your DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwasari. First, let's take a look at the news highlights for the day. 4 persons have been arrested by a joint team from the Forestry Commission and military personnel in Itiwa Forest Reserve in the Eastern region. This brings to a total of 61 arrests since January this year. Deputy Minister for Transport Daniel Ni Kwate Titus Glover has called for stakeholder dialogue on the legalization of commercial motorcycle transport, popularly called Okada. Also, the head teacher of the Kachilendo DA Primary School in the Pandai districts of the Northern Region, Eric Hunkbe, who was implicated for using pupils to raise young mounts, has commended TV3 mission for the expose. He disclosed that the Ghana Education Service supplied the school with 80 dual desk teachers' tables and chairs after TV3 mission brought the exploitation to light. On the international front, more than 380 people have been confirmed dead after a tsunami triggered by a magnitude 7.5 earthquake hit an Indonesian city on Friday. Up next is the big one. Now, President Akufo-Addo has rejected claims that the call for the creation of the Oti region out of the Volta region is a land-grabbing move. At a meeting with Ghanaian residents in Washington, D.C., a concerned Voltarian directly confronted him over the carving out of Oti from Volta. Kosi Nutekmo is of the view the move is being used by Akan-speaking Oti people to annex lands of the Ewe-speaking Voltarians. According to the concerned Voltarian, the Oti people are Akan and they do not want any Ewes next to them. President Akufo-Addo quickly rejected this suggestion. The meeting was part of President Akufo-Addo's trip to the United States of America for the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly. So, President Akufo-Addo has rejected claims that the call for the creation of the Oti region out of the Volta region is a land-grabbing move. At a meeting with Ghanaian residents in Washington, D.C., a concerned Voltarian directly confronted him over the carving out of Oti from Volta. Kosi Nutekbo is of the view the move is being used by the Akan-speaking Oti people to annex lands of the Ewe-speaking Voltarians. According to the concerned Voltarian, the Oti people are Akan and they do not want any Ewes next to them. So joining me in the studio to talk about this is Jean-Claude Koku Ameyoglo, and he's one of the citizens who have sued government and the Electoral Commission over the proposed creation of new regions. He joins me in the studio. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
So I'm sure you have seen the video and the confrontation by the president. Yes. Did his answers answer some of the questions you have raised in the suit?
Not entirely so. You know, we went to court to compel the Supreme Court to give us a clear interpretation on some of the provisions made in the Constitution in relation to the creation of new regions. And as part of our suit, we equally filed an injunction application to compel the EC to hold on with the registration exercise so that once the interpretation is done, we can know, everybody will have a clear picture of whatever thing that is going on. But obviously, the EC violated that particular provision and still went ahead to complete the whole entire registration process. So it was just yesterday that we saw a video, I mean, scrolling online, and I think one gentleman confronted the president in relation to the creation of new regions, and the president was making some references to Catalonia, the issue of the Catalonians in Spain, and the Scottish issue. And I think the president, as a lawyer, as a renowned lawyer, should have known better, because the issue is in court, and he should have obviously told the gentleman to maybe since the issue is in court, he should have even prevented himself from speaking to the matter. But what he said is obviously amounts to prejudicial statement that he was making, and obviously it can go a long way to influence the opinions of the judges who are going to sit on the matter come this October 23rd.
So are you now jittery about the responses from the president?
Yes. In fact, you see, the president should have just avoided the gentleman from. He should have just avoided himself from answering the questions, because there's an issue in court. We filed an injunction one. Our injunction was, like the EC and the AG did not heed to the injunction that we filed. They still went ahead with the process. And here we have the president outside the country having interactions with the Ghanaian communities in the US, and it's telling them that, in fact, the referendum, the creation of the new regions, the people deserve, the people are Ghanaians and they deserve to have their own regions. And he made references to the, Catalonia. See, the Catalonia issue has to do with secessionist movements. And the constitution that the president swore to uphold and defend seriously frowns on that. So the president doing that, he equally shot himself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? So we thought the president didn't do it. And seriously, myself and the two other petitioner plaintiffs on the issue, we are highly disappointed in the president for doing that.
So, but the other argument is that government is arguing that the creation of these new regions is part of moves to ensure greater participation at the grassroots level and also to bring about development. You don't think that is true? You don't think so?
Oh, my dear, come on. If it has to do with greater participation, we have local government acts where we have the creation of new MMDAs where development springs up each and every time. So I don't see the reason why they can make argument based on development that because they want to develop the area. I mean, we have the special prosecutor's office not being well structured. I mean, the special prosecutor is not well organized to even prosecute the issues, deal with issues in relation to corruption. But we are able to get money to go and conduct a referendum.
Jean-Claude Koku Amenyoglo is a citizen who has sued government in the EC over the proposed creation of the new regions. Thank you very much for joining us. The issue is still in courts, and so we'll wait and see what comes out of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on NEWSAT10. You're still watching NEWSAT10 on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. We're back after this break with more. Don't go away. Welcome back from the break. This is still NEWSAT10 on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. Let's go to the presidency now, where President Akufo-Addo says the determination by some elements within the National Democratic Congress to review the free senior high school policy if voted into office only means the eventual collapse of the policy. The president said Ghanaians should be alarmed by the proposal of the NDC and its presidential aspirant John Dramani Mahama for a review of the free SHS policy to deny more students gaining access to senior high school.
President Akufo-Addo was addressing a town hall meeting of Ghanaians resident in Washington, D.C. as part of his trip to the United States of America for the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly. President Akufo-Addo, who was alarmed by the concept of review by the NDC, citing the failure of one-term premium of the NHIS and degrading of the initiative when they attempted a review.
I suspect reviewing means collapsing it. That's my understanding. But I don't think that the Ghanaian people are going to allow this very important policy to be collapsed.
President Akufo-Addo added that the decision to embark upon a free SHS and the double-track system was the best education initiative that ever happened to the country. He insisted that there is absolutely nothing unusual or strange about the double-track system since it has worked very well in many countries that have used it.
The 3.6% rate of growth we inherited in 2016 when we came to office at the beginning of 2017 by the end of 2017 had gone to 8.5%. And it has shown that, yes, the decision the Ghanaian people made to change course, entrust the management of the economy into different hands, has paid off.
Former Chief Executive Officer of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Kojo Bonsu, has hinted of his intention to contest the flag bearership race of the opposition National Democratic Congress. Kojo Bonsu joins other party stalwarts such as former President John Dramani Mahama and former Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, UPSA, Professor Joshua Alabi. Former President Jerry John Rawlings hinted on Friday about the former KMA's boss' intention, describing him as an individual with a determined spirit in a tweet after receiving him at his residence in Accra. Ghana Cocoa Board and an international development organization, Solidaridad, have launched Women in Cocoa and Chocolate Network in Ghana as part of efforts to increase women participation and influence. Women in Cocoa and Chocolate Network in Ghana is aimed at connecting and inspiring women to accelerate change and contribute to the sustainability of cocoa production and prosperous cocoa communities.
Ghana derives 31% of its foreign exchange revenue from cocoa. It is the mainstay of about 800,000 families. Women contribute 25% of the actors in the cocoa value chain. They are, however, faced with a lot of challenges that impede their active participation in the sector. In order to network and promote women cocoa farmers and those in the cocoa and chocolate value chain, the Ghana Cocoa Board, together with a civil society organization, Solidaridad, launched the Women in Cocoa and Chocolate Network, WINC.
It is my singular honor to declare the Women in Cocoa and Chocolate Network officially launched in Ghana.
The Cocoa Board CEO, Joseph Boahinedu, in a speech read by the Director Audit of Cocoa Board, Dr. Agnes Owusu-Ansah, stressed the need to empower women cocoa farmers to ensure equity in the industry.
About 600 women pollinators have been trained on leadership and entrepreneurial skills at the Bunsu Cocoa College. These women will become private sector providers at the end of the program to provide pollination services to cocoa farmers. Women farmers are not as isolated from other productivity enhancing programs being implemented by Cocoa Board, including the mass pruning exercise, cocoa rehabilitation and treatment program.
Country representative of Solidaridad Ghana, Susan Yemidi, opined the involvement of women in the cocoa sector will ensure sustainability.
We're going to discuss opportunities and see what implementation strategies we can put in place that would encourage women to be there in the center of cocoa consumption, to be in the center of owning businesses that add value to cocoa and also contribute to the economic revenues that we generate from cocoa.
The event brought together women cocoa farmers nationwide and other stakeholders in the value chain.
WINC is in to connect us. I believe we can't do this unilaterally. We need to come together as stakeholders to make Cocoa Board's dream come true.
The Women in Cocoa and Chocolate Network, WINC, was founded in October 2015 at the World Cocoa Foundation Partnership meeting in Washington.
4 persons have been arrested by a joint team from the Forestry Commission and military personnel in Itiwa Forest Reserve in the Eastern region. This brings to a total of 61 arrests since January this year.
Information we gathered from forest guards indicates the suspects usually enter the forest in small groups unnoticed. With just an axe and shovel, illegal mining is done. Due to the restrictions on small-scale mining and ban on illegal mining, these illegal miners moved to the heart of the Itiwa Forest Reserve to mining groups. They set up temporal structures to aid their activities for the period of stay. Lands have been destroyed, with water bodies polluted as well. The Tiwa Forest Reserve is a source of potable water to 5 million people. Its size is estimated at 232 kilometers square and can hardly be monitored by the inadequate forest guards who must walk the length and breadth of the entire forest over hours daily. The 4 arrested had traveled with others from Uda, Kede, and its environs to engage in mining without license. The Eastern Regional Forestry Manager, Yao Itiaheni Nyaku, expressed worry at the trend of illegal mining inside the forest. He believes setting up camps at strategic positions in the forest with more forest guards would help protect it.
We've had some forest guards recently under Forestry Commission YEA program who are doing protection, who are helping us. But we still need more. And, and also the logistics. You see, look at the road leading to the forest gate, how we suffered to get here. All the cars that were not using 4x4, we had to leave them behind. And for the forest guard to cover all this distance, we need tents and other things so that we can pitch camp here.
NEWSAT10 is back after this break. Do stay with us.